This episode is brought to you by
JG
Graybill!
Woo! Now enjoy the episode.
This is All Sports All the Time, episode 147. And Luke had something in his shirt when he walked into my house. It was weird. It's not in his shirt anymore.
It like that?
You walked into my house.
It was under my sweatshirt.
And underneath your
I was
sweatshirt,
hiding something.
there was just a bulge.
So you're just calling me fat.
It's
Owen's
kind of
calling
hard
me
to
fat.
explain.
Nope, Owen's calling me fat.
It was, it wasn't a circle, but it was closer to an oval, I think is the way that I would describe it, going from about his waist to his chest, so a pretty substantial size, but the shape was not clear enough that I could say, like, it was this shape. It was relatively thin, just kind of running down the middle of his chest and stomach, and he said don't worry about it.
Don't.
Which just made me worry about it more. And then it's not there anymore, so it's probably under the table or something, but I'm not going to look because I'm scared to. So I don't know if me telling you guys about that is worth it or not, because I don't know what's going to happen. See, now he's reaching down again.
No, I was putting the case on the floor.
I'm already suspicious, and I'm very concerned about what's going to happen during this episode.
You should be.
See, stuff like that. Anyway, how was your week, Luke?
Very, very long. This week was a long one. There were good parts to the week, but this week was just in general very, very long.
My weeks are going so fast, just because it's almost the end of high school. And it's like, oh, I'm fine. I still got another month. Boom, week over.
Yeah.
Now it's only 3, and then it's just probably going to go faster and faster. So that'll be interesting. But my classes are also much easier than yours.
Yeah.
So that might be part of it.
Yeah, I've got like AP tests next week, so that's been pretty stressful.
I've got sports literature.
Mr. P.
Actually, sports literature, Parker and I have gotten into the habit of, during, like, before class and the announcements, during second period when we're in sports lit, we do Wordle, Podle, Weddle, and
Which one's
Wordle.
Podle?
That's the basketball one.
Oh.
Because basically what has happened is Wordle is so incredibly popular that people were like, hey, let's make spinoffs, and then there's Wordle, like we did after the Sixers game. That reel did pretty well. And then, sports fans have created games similar to it.
I like Weddle.
You can guess a football player based on characteristics and numbers, and you can guess a basketball player and a baseball player. So basically they've taken Wordle and spun it into baseball and football and basketball. And so that got me to thinking, what other games could use a sports spin? Because we've been doing Weddle, Podle, Wordle for like a couple weeks, and it's very fun. And I was like, I think that this could be a thing where you spin off a board game or like an electronic game into something sports related to make it a little more niche, but like more appealing to
I've got one.
Sports fans. All right, I got a couple, so we can go back and forth.
My first one, Monopoly.
Oh, I also had Monopoly. Let's see if we were thinking the same thing
So
here.
you've got, like, we're just going to use football, right?
We're not thinking the same then.
Oh, what sport were you thinking?
Well, I was thinking baseball, but we'll go with yours and we'll see how ours are
Football,
different.
you've got your 32 teams. That's equal to your properties, right? So that's equal to your properties. And you know how the properties are divided based on color, right? Well, these properties are divided based on AFC West, NFC West, all the divisions, yeah. And then, so you go around the board and you try and buy teams. And once you, if you, buy all, for building houses and stuff like that, if you buy all of the teams in one division, you get to build onto those, teams, onto those franchises. I haven't really thought about what you would build onto them.
You get to add a franchise
Super Bowl
quarterback
trophies.
or
I don't know.
Draft picks.
Basically that. It's basically
banners.
Monopoly, but you have sports teams instead, or football teams instead.
I was thinking baseball themed because baseball just throughout its history has had a lot of money disputes and problems. it would be Monopoly owners versus players. And you're an owner and you're trying to monopolize as much as you can and pay your players as little as possible while still winning a bunch of games. And so you would, I haven't thought about the exact board, but the spaces would probably be like positions or specific players, or like some of them would be like minor league systems, and then there'd be like the railroads would maybe be like stuff within your stadium, like concessions and whatnot. And you would try to accumulate the most money while also paying everyone else the least amount you can.
Nice.
Owners versus players. The other one I thought about was categories. Could like you'd make a sports themed categories.
They have,
like that one's pretty easy.
Within categories, they've got like pro athlete or pro sports team, but like a sports specific categories.
Yeah,
like just sports.
That would be fun.
That
Also,
would be a lot of fun.
Guess Who? You could literally just replace the people with
that's
athletes,
fun.
and then you could do a Guess Who. With just like the pictures of
The only problem with
different
things like
athletes.
that is it gets outdated so quickly.
Yes.
It would get very, very outdated.
You would have to do it with like classic players that
Oh,
who
yeah.
are like retired Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
And then
You would have to do it with people that if you know the sport, you know those people.
Yeah, pretty much. So those two, it would just be like, it wouldn't be you'd be changing the game. You'd just be kind of putting a little spin on it, just a sports specific Guess Who or categories. I really wanted to try. I tried so hard to think of one for Settlers because I feel like you could make that sports themed very easily, but I wasn't able to think of how you could turn Settlers into a sports game somehow. So I was disappointed in myself in that one. Dutch Blitz, you just put different pass rushers on the cards instead of Dutch Art. I don't even know what is on those, but that would be fun. And instead of having to put them in a certain order, you would have to put them on certain quarterbacks. So like, you always, in Dutch Blitz, you always want to get a 1 because you get to put it out for free. But all of the 1s would be quarterbacks, and then all the other numbers would be defensive linemen, and then you would, put them on top of the quarterback. Dutch Settlers was a rough one.
I can't think of anything.
I was disappointed in myself.
I bet Parker could think of something if you were
having
here.
a good one.
Maybe we have a moment of silence
Well,
for Parker.
Parker's not.
Thank you.
Parker's not here. In case you guys hadn't noticed, we're about probably 5 minutes into this. And,
Yeah.
oh, hey, Parker hasn't spoken yet. That's because he's
Not here.
at Penn State
Yes.
for volleyball.
Yes. Wonder if Ethan went
Good
to watch
job,
him play.
Parker. Oh, I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, we can't really. You want to call him right now and ask?
Yes.
Okay. This is the part of the episode where we call our friend who's in college to ask him if he went to see Parker's volleyball game because it's at the same campus that he's at. So this should be a really interesting conversation. Hey, did you go see Parker's volleyball game?
Hello? Yo. Hey, you're at Penn State, obviously. That was a dumb question. You're on the
that was
podcast,
a
by
good
the way,
start.
so say hi to the
Good
viewers.
start.
Hi, viewers.
That
Okay.
was creepy.
Did you go watch Parker's volleyball game?
Did I watch it? No.
Oh,
That was pretty much it.
Sucks.
That was all we had.
yeah. Because he's up at Penn State today, so I was curious if you would want to watch his game.
Yeah, he texted me. I told him he should pull up to a court and me and my friends would beat him, but he was too scared.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were just curious
He-
if you had gone to watch it.
No, I'm studying.
Makes
That's
sense.
Probably responsible.
Yeah, that's probably
What?
smart.
But you have to study. But you also challenged him to a game in which you would stop studying to
So,
play.
if you would have accepted your challenge, you would have stopped studying.
Well, potentially.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take
He's
it.
honest.
Yeah.
Don't tell my mom.
Hopefully she's not watching.
Oh, boy.
That seems like a safe
I think we're
bet.
in the clear.
that
I
she
think
would
we're
be
in the
watching.
clear.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah,
I think we're
probably.
fine.
That's probably a safe one.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ethan.
That was it.
We'll see you later.
All right, peace.
Bye.
Lasted over a minute, so not bad. It's
pretty good.
I thought that was going to be 20 seconds. Did you see Parker's game? Nope. All right.
Bye.
Yeah, but yeah, him challenging Parker to a game would have been
Funny.
pretty. It's not the first time it's happened. Not the March Madness of 2022.
Oh, yeah.
March Madness 2021. Ethan did challenge Parker to one-on-one basketball in the dark in Wolf's driveway because they were arguing about whether or not Ethan could just stand in the corner
Yeah.
in a college game and just like eventually make a shot or like slip behind somebody and sneak under the basket and then they just don't guard him and he's wide open, layup. Parker said that he could never ever score in a college game, and Ethan thought that he could maybe score once. And so for some reason that turned into playing one-on-one as if that would decide it, which does not line up at all. It kind of defeats the purpose, actually, because there's one person focused on guarding you, whereas the concept of Ethan being able to score in a college basketball game is like they wouldn't care about him because they're like, he's just going to miss.
Yeah.
And eventually maybe he'd make one. But then Ethan, after like 20 to 30 attempts, he did make a shot over Parker.
Yeah.
So he was right, I think. Kind of. Not really. We'll never know, but he hit that shot over Parker, and so that has to count for something. I didn't have any other games that could be turned into sports, so we're going to rely on you guys. If you have any other games, electronic video games, board games, card games, that could be spun into sports, comment that. We should probably talk about what was under your shirt, huh?
No.
It was worth a shot.
We should talk about the Eagles draft because
that's also interesting.
Because after these last 2 years, not just draft, but just like moves throughout the season, like the way that Howie has generally managed, get it? Because he's
that was good.
That was funny. Not really. The way that he's managed this team has been so much better over these last 2 years than throughout his entire career as a GM. Thank you.
Howie Roseman has had a weird career arc where, as we talked about last week, he started as like an unpaid intern.
Yeah.
Somehow made his way all the way up to general manager. And then when the Eagles hired Chip Kelly allowed Howie to still be the general manager, but Chip Kelly was the general manager. Yeah. And the Eagles made a bunch of horrible moves, got rid of LaShawn McCoy and Deshaun Jackson, and the team kind of fell apart. And then Chip Kelly got fired, and Howie Roseman came back. He was still the GM again, but like he actually got his like responsibilities back, built a Super Bowl team, and then I think he kind of got a little cocky.
Yeah.
And started to kind of like for example, with the Jalen Reagor draft pick, he was not the highest on the Eagles board. Justin Jefferson was the highest, and Howie Roseman like went over the scouts' heads to make that pick.
Yeah.
Same with Jalen Hurts, actually. Jeremy Chin, the safety, who's actually really good, was higher on the actual rankings the Eagles had, and Howie was like, nope. And so I think he he probably got a little bit of a big head and was like, I'm a Super Bowl GM. I can make all the right moves. Yep. And then got a little risky with it. Also, his franchise quarterback wasn't staying healthy and or performing well, so that obviously makes it difficult for him, but at the same time, he didn't put a great team around him. And now, as soon as the Carson Wentz deal happened, it feels like Howie's been a different guy.
Yeah, I mean, last year you saw he drafted Devontae Smith in the first round, which he was the obvious guy right there, and we took him. Like, we didn't miss on that. And then throughout the entire season, Howie accumulated so many draft picks. Yeah. And
wheeling and dealing.
And he built our draft last season, and this season during the draft, I mean, he took Jordan Davis with the first pick. I like it. I wanted Hamilton, but I'm not going to complain with Jordan Davis. Mm-hmm. I think he looks good. He's massive. He is absolutely massive.
Our defensive line is so good. I sent to you and Parker. If you're able to pull that up. Oh my word. If you remember the Eagles' defensive line when they won the Super Bowl, it was so good because they were loaded. Their depth was ridiculous. They had essentially 6 or 7 starters who they would rotate in and out of their 4-man defensive line so that everybody was always fresh. And so, this is ridiculous. Their potential starting D-line right now, 2 edges, 2 D tackles, right? We would have Hassan Reddick, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Josh Sweat as one set of 4. And then our backups are Derek Barnett, Jordan Davis, Milton Williams, and Brandon Graham, which is our backup 4 defensive linemen could be a top
Starting
10
4.
starting 4
Yeah.
in the NFL. So the defensive line is ridiculously good once again. The Eagles are always going to build their team in the trenches, and they did that again. They went defensive tackle and center with their first 2 picks. And then something insane happened with the 15th pick.
We traded for AJ
Or the
Brown.
18th pick.
18th
pick.
Traded for AJ Brown, which is one of the smartest moves that I think I've ever seen Howie made, and I could not be happier with it because when we approached that pick, were there guys on the board? Obviously. Was there anybody on the board that we would take that wouldn't be reaching? I don't think so. I think that
The receiver run had already happened.
Exactly. I think the move that Howie made was one of the smartest moves that he's ever made as the Eagles GM. I think getting AJ Brown, I call him a veteran wide receiver. He's like 3 years.
He feels like a veteran.
He's like 3 years into the league, right? 2 or 3.
He's 24.
Yeah, exactly.
But it feels like he's been around for a while, yeah.
But he's proven himself with the Titans. Like he's shown that he is a great wide receiver. And, this year is Jalen Hurts' year. We gave him the targets. He's got his 1, 2, 3 is A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins. He's
solid.
He's got 3 solid guys that he can throw to, 3 solid guys who will be open that he can throw to. He has no excuses this year, and I think this is a great year for him to prove himself. I think if he can show us this year that he is capable of being a starting level quarterback in the NFL, that's when we go quarterback in the more quarterback heavy draft next year. But this is his year to prove himself, and I think he can do it. I really hope he can because I think he has great potential.
Well, like you said, quarterback heavy draft next year. Again, Howie has set this up beautifully where it's like, all right, Jalen, this is a good team. What are you able to do with it? Yeah. If you're not able to play well, we've got 2 first-round picks in this quarterback heavy draft next year where we can either take a guy that we want, or we can package those to move up and get somebody that we really want early in the draft. I just hope Jalen. If the worst case scenario is Hurts gets hurt, and then
we don't know what to do.
We get set back a year because we're like, we don't know how good he actually is. We haven't been able to evaluate yet. But if he's healthy all year, it's going to be basically win-win for the Eagles. Not guaranteed in the draft, but like you're set up so well where you have a plan either way. It's not like if this fails, then we're going to have to rebuild or something because the offensive core is young. The defense is good enough now. We're going to lean on the defensive line kind of like always, and that's worked before. If Hurts succeeds, obviously that's easy. Boom, we've got our quarterback. And if he doesn't, we've got the ammunition to go try to get another guy. So exactly. I think it's safe to say that I am back on the Howie Roseman trust train.
Yeah, I agree.
We trusted him after the Super Bowl, and then quickly lost that. But I think we're back.
Yeah, he's definitely earned it back after these last 2 years. He's definitely earned it back.
Yeah, and the most impressive thing is like he's always been good at trading and maneuvering and stuff like that. It's just the actual drafting of the players has been an issue. And now it seems like
he's just got it all.
If he's good at that, I don't
understand.
He's got
so much draft capital.
I don't know how teams aren't like scared to trade with the Eagles because it's like, oh man, they always somehow like fleece
teams. But it's
teams.
because we're bad. Like the past couple years, we've been not great. We've been one of the lower teams. We snuck into the playoffs last year undeservingly, and like I think
teams don't see us as much of a threat.
No, they don't at all.
They should.
They should. But they don't, and it's honestly playing in our advantage. And I think maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but give it 3-4 years. I say we're in a solid running.
Oh, whoa, no! I think we're in a solid running this year.
You do?
Oh yeah, our division isn't that great.
That's a good
We're
point.
better than the Giants. We're better than the football team. It's us and the Cowboys, and I would say the Eagles and the Cowboys are on.
Let's just say this:
pretty much a level playing field.
I'll take back what I said, but I am going to say this: it 110% rides on Jalen Hurts right now.
Oh yeah,
if he plays well, we do well. If he plays bad, we do bad because we've got all the pieces around him. It's a matter of can he perform, and if he can't, that's going to be our downfall.
Yeah, pretty much. You can't really win consistently without a franchise quarterback. Maybe you can have one nice run, but you're not going to have sustained success without a guy at quarterback.
Can we also talk about Malik Willis to the Titans? I am thoroughly surprised by that.
That one was weird. Not necessarily because he went to the Titans, but because he didn't go to the Seahawks.
Did the Titans pick before or after the Seahawks?
Well, I mean, it was in the third round, so...
He went in the third round?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
It was like
realize
a
that.
couple
I thought he
shots
went.
at
I thought he was going to... I swore the Seahawks
It was
were
the
going to take him...
86th pick, I think.
I
So,
swore the Seahawks were going to take him in the second round.
yeah, I didn't really understand that. I think if we're transitioning away from the Eagles, one last thing about the Eagles.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown, I do feel kind of bad. He went from a run-first offense in Tennessee to a run-first offense in Philadelphia, and he still had 1,000 yards twice in Tennessee. So it's like, imagine what would happen if he went to like a pass-first offense.
The run in Tennessee is definitely better than the run in...
Well, I don't know. The Eagles had the best rushing offense in the league last
They did.
year.
They had the most... Yeah, they
But
did.
Derrick Henry was also hurt. But yeah, he went from one of the best offenses rushing-wise to one of the other best rushing offenses.
The Titans had the best like running back.
Yes.
Like a singular best running back. We have a good rushing offense in the sense that
like yards per
Hurts
game.
can do it. Miles Sanders can do it. Boston Scott can
We've
do
got
it.
a good
We've
offensive
got
line.
multiple guys who can together
Yeah.
accumulate those yards, whereas they had one guy who did it all himself.
Our offensive
Which is
line
kind of
depth
insane.
is also really impressive. Not only are our trenches strong with our starters, but
Yeah,
Roseman and the front office have built depth at the two lines, which is really
it's actually
impressive.
really important. Way
Often
more important than
overlooked.
people see. I feel like people often overlook the lines because I'm just gonna throw it out there.
It's
You
not
look
as
at the
fun to
Super
watch.
Bowl last year. If the Bengals had a better O line, I don't see them losing that game.
Yeah. But also they got Jamar Chase, so
They did.
You pick your spots.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did. The Bengals did a good job this offseason getting more offensive linemen, so they've definitely adjusted and targeted it. I think that with just talking about all the other teams, I think the Lions had the best draft out of anybody.
I don't know how they scored Aiden
They got-
Hutchinson. They should not have gotten him. He should have went number one.
Yeah.
But
They lucked out
hey,
there,
they got him.
and then they got
Lucky.
Jamison Williams. They
Yeah.
traded up to get him, fastest wide receiver in the draft.
They
a
see
little
the
bit
quarterback.
of concern. But yeah, and then next year, Lions also looking at that quarterback heavy draft. If they land a Bryce Young,
Contender,
a CJ
probably
Stroud,
not.
no,
But
not this
definitely
year.
better. No,
But
not
they're-
this year. I was talking about after next year.
I think they're set up for
And-
2-3 years.
I don't
down
remember
the
the name
road.
of their coach, but I love him.
Oh, the Dan Campbell, the crazy
Yeah,
guy.
I love Dan Campbell.
I don't know. Dan Campbell's he's a good motivational speaker,
Yeah,
but as
yeah.
like an actual tactician, I
Oh
don't
no, I don't know much
trust
about his
him
technique,
that much.
but
So
he seems like a crazy guy.
yeah, he's at
And I
least
like that.
He
He's
has
got
a good quote.
Yeah, he's got the motivation.
Yeah. So the Lions had a really good draft. Parker thought that the Jets had the best draft, which I think is the consensus belief that the Jets in
hard to get
getting
much worse
Sauce
than the
Gardner
Jets.
and Garrett Wilson
Yeah.
had the best draft, and then they got the Bryce Hall guy that we were confused with.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Jets have a running back named Bryce Hall, and then they also drafted Bryce Hall but spelled Brees Hall. So that's a little bit confusing. And then they also have two Wilsons. So a bit of a trend here for the
Yeah.
Jets. But people are always going to think the Jets draft was the best because they got, like you said, skill position. That's more exciting. They got a wide receiver and a corner.
And because they're already so bad that it's really hard to get worse.
That too. But Zach Wilson's got some weapons now. They got Elijah Moore last
Yeah.
year. Corey Davis was good enough. And then Garrett Wilson now. So the Jets might be looking
But
to
the
turn
question
around
is,
because Sauce
Can
Gardner
Zach Wilson do
can
it?
be
That's
great.
the big question.
Well, again, it's always going to come back to, but is your quarterback good?
Mm-hmm.
But at least they have somebody who like we're not sure about
Yeah.
yet. Like he has potential.
He has
It's not
potential,
like
yeah.
a Drew Lock or a Sam Darnold where it's like, yeah, no, that's not
That's long
not
gone.
happening.
There is nothing there. Yeah.
So yeah, the Jets were definitely up there. I would say the Lions were better. And then to round out a top three for me, probably the Giants, who went in the trenches. They got
Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yep, they got him at 5, and then they got Evan Neal
Yeah.
at 7. So a great offensive lineman and a great defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Both
solid.
in the top 10. So I think the Giants had a very good draft, which their fans should be happy about because as Eagles fans, we've had some rough drafts, but Giants fans, so have you. So you can't say anything because, yeah, you've had some very, very bad drafts as
Yeah.
well. So good for the Giants. I'm happy for them. They also won't be great this year, but because quarterback again. But they had 2 solid picks. They kind of
Yeah.
just took like best overall, and that's pretty good when you can get the arguably the best or second best offensive lineman in the draft, 7th overall, after getting arguably the best or second best defensive lineman just before that. So there's no reason for the Giants to complain. So a good week in Philadelphia sports. We had the draft. Also, the Eagles got Nakobe Dean in the 3rd round. The draft was so good that we didn't even talk about that. Potentially the best linebacker on the best college defense ever. And we got him in the 3rd round, and we never get linebackers. And it's just, that's an amazing pick.
We needed
and it's only
a
like the
solid
4th best
linebacker.
thing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's ridiculous. We have 72 tackles.
A lot.
I think it was 72 tackles, 10.5 for loss, then 6 sacks or something like that. I don't know.
Fantastic.
It was ridiculous.
He's just all over the place.
Yeah.
When you watch Georgia play, he was the centerpiece of their defense, as was Jordan Davis. So, we got 2 of their.
So last year we drafted Alabama. This year we drafted Georgia.
Yeah, when Georgia, the best college defense most of us have ever seen.
Yeah.
And we got 2 of their defensive players. So I would say that's a pretty smart strategy. Last year we went 2 Alabama offense. This year we went 2 Georgia defense.
Exactly. And we saw an insane offense and an insane defense from both those teams in their years.
That's true. And it translated
we
well
just
last
put
year.
them onto our team.
It's pretty simple, guys. Just draft good college players. I mean, what are we doing? It's not that complicated.
Yeah, come on.
Just watch a guy play college football and then draft him if he's good.
Exactly.
Easy.
It's not that hard.
But this week was very good in Philadelphia sports. We had the draft. We had the Phillies sweep the Rockies, although that momentum was quickly stopped when the Mets no-hit them the next night.
We don't talk about that.
But, Thursday night was great.
Time out.
So, is this you brought a second hat?
Yeah. For when we talked about the Phillies.
Now it's time for Phillies mode.
Yeah.
But the Phillies got back to 500, had a great sweep of the Rockies.
Yeah.
They're back under 500 because of the Mets no-hitter thing. But they've got some momentum going now after a rough start. They're still very much in the race. It's a long season marathon, not a sprint. And then the biggest thing that happened Thursday night of this Philadelphia trifecta was the Sixers giving all of us a huge sigh of relief. Oh, my word. You brought multiple. Okay. Is that what was under your shirt? Mm-hmm. Hats?
Yeah.
That was all that. You didn't have to
What else would be under my shirt?
You didn't have to conceal hats under your shirt.
I did. It was the effect. Because you had no idea.
It was just to... Okay. That's actually kind of anticlimactic. It was just hats.
I knew it wasn't that exciting. We're making a really big deal out of it.
What is hidden under his shirt?
I decided to just play along with you.
Wow. Okay. That you could have just walked in with 3 hats, though.
That's not fun, though. It's fun to make you think the worst.
I did. Yeah. The Sixers. Yeah, they gave us all a huge sigh of relief when they finally ended the Raptors.
And then Joel
in Game
Embiid has
6.
a concussion.
And a mild orbital fracture, which doesn't sound good at all.
No.
So yeah, the Phillies and the Sixers both, obviously the Sixers much more so, but they were both on a roll, and then bad news.
Kablooey.
Phillies getting no hit, and the Sixers...
Joel Embiid losing his head.
No, that's not exactly what happened, but Raptors fans kind of suck, if you think about it, because they were chanting F Embiid early in the series, and then after Embiid dunks to put the Sixers up by like 25 and does the airplane thing, and then Siakam just elbows him in the face the next play, and Raptors fans are like, yeah, he deserved it. That's not what. Also, Raptors fans were the ones that cheered when KD tore his ACL in the finals, so not a good track record you got going there, Toronto. I thought Canada was nice. Just had to get that in there. But the Sixers are playing the 1 seed Miami Heat, which might sound bad, but I wish Parker were here to talk about this. The Celtics are the best team in the East right now. So we would rather play the Heat than the Celtics. The Heat are obviously very good. I think it's a pretty even matchup when we have Embiid. But now that's all up in the air because with a concussion, Embiid is out minimum 5 days.
When do we play next?
Monday.
That's less than 5 days.
Yeah, that's 4 days. So I think he's going to be missing game 1. And then
time to step it up.
The orbital fracture, who knows?
I don't even know
exactly
how far that's
whether or not you can play with that. The concussion, there he's going to get tested, and he just has to clear
You know, like
protocols, and then he's good to go on that. The fracture is much more.
if you break
confusing.
your finger, you break your arm, like it hurts to move that thing, but you don't move your face. How does does an orbital fracture really hurt?
I'm
I mean,
sure he
I'm
has a
sure-
headache.
Yeah, I'm sure it hurts, but like, how does it hurt? You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah, you would just-
you know what pain I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah.
you break your arm or your finger.
I
or
don't. I've
something
never
like
broken a
that.
bone, but
Not even in your finger.
no, I've
Oh.
never broken any bones.
Okay.
I've remained intact my whole life.
Well, that's sad. You should go break a bone.
Is that like break a leg, but just more vague?
No, I think you should like
Break a bone.
Yeah.
I'd rather not.
Okay.
It's kind of an expensive thing.
Not if you break a finger. If you
Medical
break a finger,
bills.
you just deal with it.
You don't go into a doctor
I
at
never
all.
did. No.
You just left it.
I
Well,
mean,
that's
I
why.
put a splint on
That's
it.
why your fingers look weird. So, I mean,
You mean I put a splint on it?
here, you
but
gotta, if you hold up your which fingers are the ones that are?
This pinky is
Yeah,
crooked.
Luke's
Because-
pinky is off. I thought you had two fingers that were messed up.
No, this pinky's not as bad. I've broken both my pinkies. I've broken this one 3 times.
Catchers, am
Only
I right?
once. Yeah. Anyway, although I broke it once playing third base, once playing in the outfield, I think, and then once catching.
Wow, that's an upset. I would have guessed that they were all at catcher.
No, I
in
would
the
have always-
outfield.
yeah,
How
I
did
would-
you break your finger in the outfield?
Don't judge me.
Too late.
I was going down, so it was a ball. It was rolling. I went down with my hand to grab it,
Oh,
so I could throw it in. I went, and my finger went, like right into the ground.
That's okay. I understand.
And it
now.
broke.
Huh. But you've never broken your orbital.
No,
in
no,
your
I
skull.
can't say I have.
I think the biggest
I've never
concern
broken,
would
like-
somebody accidentally hitting Embiid on the head, because that would be painful.
I wonder if, no, I don't think I have.
You
Fracture.
think he could play with a
I was
helmet
just saying
on?
thing when I
Would
got
they
hit in the
allow
head
that?
with a baseball bat. I was like, did I fracture my skull? I don't think I
That-
did though.
Wow, you didn't fracture your
I
skull
don't
and you
think
didn't
so.
get a concussion.
No, I just had a laceration.
Really impressive. I've
I've never
always
broken like
said
a
Luke
major
has a
bone. Like I've
rock
broken
solid
toes
head.
and fingers, but I've never like
Hmm.
like an arm or a femur or a tibia or a fibula or a
Yeah.
radius or ulna or I've never broken anything like that.
I was just wondering how long you were going to go listing all of the different bones you could possibly break.
You can break any bone.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not going to sit here
Yeah.
and name 206
You
different
can-
bones.
I
that
was
you can
fully
break.
expecting you to. You only listed like 6, so
Sorry.
it was a little underwhelming. Do you think they would let Embiid play with a helmet on?
No.
You can play with a mask on.
Yeah, that's what they might have to do.
So, they're probably going to, and then masked Embiid will probably go off. It's just, can he get back into the game to wear the mask? Is the real question. We'll save like actual analysis of the series for when Parker's here, because that's kind of his area of expertise. But it's an even matchup. When the Sixers have Embiid, the Heat have a very clear advantage. When the Sixers do not. So it's basically just going to be, hey, let's try to hang on and try to extend this series.
Yeah.
Maybe, I think it's a win if we can get a win. It's a win if we can win. It's fantastic if we can win one game without Embiid.
Yeah.
That's if we can steal some sort of like close win over the Heat without Embiid, I'm good. And then you hope he comes back, and if he doesn't, then
Yeah.
we've got a great excuse for why we didn't make it as far in the playoffs.
We
as
didn't have
did.
our MVP.
The MVP.
The MVP.
We didn't have the best player in the league, therefore we lost. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sixers. We were super pumped for about 24 hours, and then because I mean, it was impressive enough that Embiid was playing through his hurt thumb. I believe.
Yeah.
I think it was his thumb. Yeah, his right thumb. His shooting hand still dominated despite that. He was like, no, I'm just going to keep playing. So, he's motivated to play, but obviously a concussion,
Yeah.
you don't want to risk anything with that. You might not even want to risk anything at all this year. Like, if the Sixers are down 3-0 and he can come back, it's like, we'll just bring Harden back next year, run it back.
Yeah.
Don't risk it, Joel. But yeah, that really put a damper on the second round of the playoffs. There were no upsets in the NBA playoffs. 1, 2, 3, 4 seeds in the East and the West both made it through. So the second round is about to start when this comes out. I think the first games are on either Sunday or Monday. So maybe they've already happened, a couple of them, when this comes out on Monday. So generally still a good week for Philadelphia sports, though.
I would say yes.
We'll take it. I think your Alec Boehm card has to have gone up in value because he's having a great year for the Phillies. Just a quick side note.
Let's see how much they're going.
We
for.
haven't checked in on Luke's Alec Boehm card in probably a year. Last year
he got sent down AAA, so
last
it
year
was
we
like
just
I was
didn't
like,
look
oh
at
wow,
because
this
it
is
was
bad.
real bad. It probably won't be up too much yet because it's just anybody can have a hot start to the year. But Boehm is really back to looking like his rookie form, I would say. And then if he can continue that, and if the Phillies make the playoffs and Boehm has that good of a year, that I think is when the card would jump up in value. If he's in playoff games, he'll get a lot more recognition. But as Phillies fans, we know Alec Boehm looking great. Let's see, we're on eBay right now?
Mm-hmm.
Which Alec Boehm card do you own, or are you just
I don't
looking
remember.
at
I'm
what
just
other people
looking
are
generally.
selling?
Well, this is what other people.
Okay.
That's like a PSA 10. I don't have that. It's a 9 perfection.
PSA 10 is the highest grade of card. But is Parker still... I feel like Parker hasn't been quite as into the card market.
Yeah.
Now that he's actually in the stock market, it's like he's got his investment fix.
I feel like I'm still at a... I think it's gone down a little bit, come back up. I think it's similar to where I bought it at,
Okay.
but not... still a little lower, so...
Not terrible. But yeah, Parker's not here, so we didn't get to do his investment talk. So that's I'm sorry guys, Parker's not here. I know that's the best segment we have.
Yeah.
But yeah, his stocks have been taking a hit. So that's another thing that we discuss kind of almost every day. He's like, "All right, let's see the stock. Oh, still down. Not doing well." I think most of his investments are actually doing relatively well. It's just the one he has the most in is Disney, and that one's down pretty bad. So it's not a great start to Parker's investment career, but it's, again, like baseball, not a sprint. It's a marathon.
Yes.
It's a really, really long marathon investing in stocks. Did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about from sports?
I don't believe so.
Okay, I've got one story that we can wrap this up with. Last week I said that our flag football team was undefeated, but we had a big matchup with the Texans. We played the Texans. We were down 19-1 with 6 minutes left in the game. Running clock.
Ooh.
The 1 point was from when they went for a one-point conversion.
How do you get 1 point?
They went for a one. There's no kicking game, so it's either you go for a 1 point conversion or a 2 point conversion. They went for a 1 point conversion, and we picked it off and returned it, and so it was 1 point.
I was like,
Edison picked it off and returned it.
nice.
So, yeah. We were playing really bad. The real key was what happened was they won the coin toss.
Did you put your best
And it's
quarterback
at-
in the whole time?
Yeah. It's at 6:30, and the sun is just setting in the perfect spot where it's in everybody's eyes if you're going one direction. And so they picked the direction where the sun is not in your receiver's eyes.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot of drops. I'll just say that. A lot of drops. And also, we had a different ref who actually, it was confusing because he actually followed the rules. The older ref we had before was just like not doing stuff that was in the rule book. Like when there was a pick.
Letting the kids have fun.
No, just like giving these weird rules where it's like when there was a pick, he would take it, like instead of getting the ball where you picked it off, you would have to go all the way back to your 5-yard line.
That's weird.
And start there. And he was giving both teams 4 downs instead of 3.
That's really
We were like,
weird.
that's not at all. But it was even both ways, so I didn't say anything about it. But this ref was actually following the rules, so that threw me off a little bit at first. I was like, oh, we're actually doing what's in the rule book. But yeah, we didn't play very well. We had a lot of drops. Blame a little bit of it on the sun. Blame a little bit of it on. They had this one kid who was really good at blitzing. We hadn't been blitzed much before, so we hadn't dealt with that much.
Blame a little bit of it on you.
Yeah,
You're the coach. You got to take some.
We had to make some adjustments. We didn't make some of them fast enough. Like we started, it took too little, too late. We started having our quarterback roll out, as he got the snap. But that was it. Yeah, that was when we started doing a lot better. But there were only 6 minutes left. So if we had thought of that sooner, that would have been better. But we almost pulled off the comeback. We scored 2 touchdowns
Wow.
in 5 minutes, and then we got a pick. And so we had the ball at midfield with about a minute. And we were down 19-17.
Ooh.
And so we got down to about the 5. I called my one timeout. We had 10 seconds left. And so we
Run one more play.
we ran a play where basically everybody either ran a slant or we don't actually have plays.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, guys, 2 people on this side, 2 people on this side, go run routes. But like since we had a timeout, we had time to actually say like what to do. So it was basically either run a slant or run like a button hook where you get in the end zone and just turn around. We had a guy open on a button hook. The pass, it was a good read by our quarterback. He didn't quite get his feet set because he was like, he's looking across, and then just as soon as he saw him, he was like, I got to get it there because he did make the right decision. It was a small window. He hit the window, but it was a little bit like high and to the side, and it hit off the hands, and it was incomplete, and we lost. But
Darn.
we made a great effort to come back. The guys were a little upset afterwards, but they handled it pretty well. We played the Texans again, so they were talking about
They're hungry.
They're excited to play them again.
They're hungry for that one.
Yeah, we're 2-1. The undefeated dream has ended, but we'll try to end the Texans' undefeated dream. I think the last game of the season it might actually be.
When is it?
That'll be interesting. I don't. 3 weeks from now, because 3 games. I don't know. I have to check, but I think we play the Texans last. I don't know why they would have us play them back to back or anything like that, but. Yeah, the Browns lost, which is a statement that you used to hear a lot,
Yeah.
but not anymore.
I would say
I don't even know who the Browns drafted. I didn't even pay attention to that
probably nobody good.
because
Probably
the Browns
another
weren't at the
Baker
top of the
Mayfield.
draft. So it's weird. Like we're always used to the
Yeah.
Browns being like a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
I don't even know where they were in this year's draft.
You can check.
Good for them, Browns. I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about being the like big Browns supporter now that Deshaun Watson's their quarterback. I might, take it a little easier now because of that.
See if they
So yeah, what a great way to end
David
episode.
Bell.
Who? Is that their first round pick? Or
I
was
don't
that
think
like
so.
a third round,
Could've been a
fourth
third
round
round.
thing? Okay, yeah, we're gonna want to go down a bit farther to see.
Alex Wright.
Seems good to me. Alex Wright sounds like
David
a solid
Bell.
football
Alex
player.
Wright and David Bell.
Oh yeah, these are definitely
Wide receiver.
not first round picks.
Martin Emerson.
We gotta keep moving because these are. Well, who's their first round pick? Who will we pick? Is what that post says.
Denzel Ward.
No, what? They paid Denzel Ward.
Yeah, I know.
Big money. I think he probably went past where
Yeah, I'm trying.
that would be.
Nope, that's the 2014 draft.
They're just going over like hyping up the draft. These are the guys that we drafted before. Look how good we are at drafting, guys. We drafted all of these people. Is that their
It might
first
be.
round pick? They took Martin Emerson, a cornerback. So glad we spent the time to get you guys that.
That's definitely
Maybe they didn't have a first round pick. You think they traded it?
potentially. They definitely did not. They did not post about anything.
There you go. That's a weird way to end episode 147. Just where we all thought that this was going to conclude.